Hello and welcome. We are in conversation today with Neelabh Mishra, editor, Outlook Hindi, on the rapidly evolving situation in Nepal. Neelabh, I just wanted to ask you, do you think what we have seen in Nepal over the last 2 weeks has been a reversal of the mandate at the general elections?
Well, certainly a crisis point you can say, but things have still not slipped out of hand, in the sense that okay, you have a new government, but it's the way how this government proceeds. One of two principles of consensus were violated by, I would say, all the parties to greater or lesser extent. But and a principle of democratic governance was also violated, in that military, the principle of military being under civilian control was not adhered to. So now the principle of governance that was violated, or the agreement that was violated, was rule through consensus. Now, if this government sticks to consensus, takes the Maoists on board, takes all the parties on board, and somehow restores a modality, should be laid out of how to keep the military under civilian control, number one, to democratize it further. Because the point here is, if the Maoist cadre remain outside, if the integration with the military does not take place, these are armed people who have a politics, and if the promise to integrate them into military is not adhered to, then they will be free to take up arms again, because they are already armed.
But there is also the other side of this transition itself being viewed as a kind of a parliamentary coup, and there's the armed Maoist cadre being outside the military, and there's also the Maoist representatives in parliament being outside government.
Yes, that is why I said that they have to be taken on board.
Right.
Try and bring them back into government, and then work out with them as to how to integrate the cadres. There are fears on both the sides. Let us be very honest about it. But those fears have to be addressed. You can't shy from them, nor can you impose one particular viewpoint. You have to address, the fears have to be addressed. As long as the military is an autonomous center of power in Nepal, the Maoists will also always fear it.
Right. And the presidency as well?
Yes. The powers have to be clearly defined in a parliamentary democracy.
Right.
You can't have it, like the president ordering the army chief to stay on.
Quite.
Okay, even Prachanda probably was too rash there, I would say. He should also have tried to evolve a consensus on that.
Quite.
And then gone ahead, whatever be the compulsions.
There's been a lot of talk about the role of India in this whole series of developments. How do you see this?
Well, yes, and let us also not hide behind the facade that we have nothing to do with Nepal and it's an internal matter for them, because Indian establishment has had a particular relationship with the Nepalese establishment, probably which they would not like to completely give up. But then, as a democracy, as a government that professes democracy, India cannot also be seen to impede that democratic process.
Quite.
And relationship between states is one thing, and relationship between democracies is more than a relationship between just states.
Right.
So you have to take that strategic view into account.
And the two problems that we started out discussing, bringing the Maoists back into, if not center stage, into the mainstream of the parliamentary form of government, and bringing the Maoist armed cadre into the military. How do you see these problems being addressed or not being addressed in the future?
Till now, we don't have a promise even that it would be addressed.
That's right.
You know, but somebody should float it there. You know, unless you address it, there is going to be a big crisis ahead.
Right.
And then, of course, we'll get into the reversal mode which you were talking about.
Exactly.
Till now, I still think that it's not reversal, complete reversal that is set in, but we are on the brink. We are there, and we would be there now down the line in a few months
if proper steps are not
taken. Yeah.
And what is your sense of events unfolding? Do you see things unfolding in a desirable direction, or do you see more dangers than positives?
Look, there are pitfalls, but at some point I think the parties would also realize that, you know, unless they address it, nobody wants a civil war again in Nepal.
Quite.
And I see a glimmer there, you know, because I don't think it's a situation where anybody can impose on anybody else. While the Maoists had a mandate, I would say, to govern, they did not have a complete mandate to write the constitution according to their will.
Right.
You know, so even Maoists must realize that. And then if you don't have a complete mandate for anybody, then you have to evolve a give and take mode of things. And there I think they should now start, but as you know, even this government is not a homogeneous entity.
Not at all.
So there are various pulls and pressures there, and first they have to talk things out among them.
Right.
And there I think India's role is crucial, because India, if for short-term gains gets into, you know,
factional
role, then it would lead to a long-term problem for even India,
right.
for even Indian establishment.
Sure, of
I
course.
would say.
And just as there is differences among the present ruling coalition, there's also rumors of considerable differences among the Maoists themselves.
Yes, I mean there is a divide there between the hardliners and the moderates, and if they are not taken on board, the hardliners
and
will
fairly
quickly, and hardliners are in command of the PLA.
So let me conclude by asking you to take a good guess at how you think events will unfold over the next few months.
I think there the role of UML is quite crucial, in the sense that what you see now is a divide among the left itself.
Sure.
You know, and okay, there would always be a division, but after all they should realize that if they profess to be left, you know, if both the sides profess to be left, they have to keep the interest of the public at large in mind, and also the future of Nepal. So I think they should be prepared to concede some ground, both of them. And considering the fact that Madhav Nepal has been a personality who's
quite a seasoned
and not known for extreme stands.
Right.
I think he will have a crucial role in also persuading, you know, people in the army, people in Nepali Congress, and also India.
Thank you, Neelabh.